Welcome into Q-Tips, powered by Missile Training. Visit missiletraining.com for all of your sports performance needs. We are back breaking down week one and looking ahead to week two for the Baltimore Ravens with Ryan Ripken and former Baltimore Ravens receiver and Super Bowl champion Qadry Ismail. And I know, guys, for this game in particular, tough way to lose. It was a hard-fought game. Obviously, they just couldn't get the job done by literally a toe at the very end. But there are plenty of things to take away. I mean, including some really good positives and also some things that Baltimore really needs to work on heading into a bout with Las Vegas in week two.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Kev. It was a game that the Ravens could have had and stole it on the road against the defending champs. Would have been a great start to the season, but they came up just short. And the thing is, you mentioned toe, Kev, literally by a toe. But Q, the reality is it didn't just come down to one play. And your theme for today is about one guy.
One guy, one play, one toe. It is one missed opportunity. I know back in the day when I was a player, we're in a team meeting room, our receiver coach, he sits there and he said, you know what, if you look at it, there are about 15 plays here where it's one guy. One guy messes it up. Well, in this particular case, going up against a Kansas City Chiefs team, you can't have all these one guy mistakes throughout the game because that adds up to a one toe on the line, missed opportunity for a victory on the road in Kansas City that can have playoff implications later on down the line. I got some video to kind of prove that one guy theory.
Yeah, and let's start with this one. As you guys can see, this is the Ravens on offense, and the first one we're going to break down. The offensive line was a big conversation point here, Q.
Yes.
But specifically with this play, it was costly. So let's walk through this one play where Lamar gets strip sacked.
Yeah, you know, I talk about the one guy thing and the one guy theme, and I want to just point out here from a schematics aspect of things. You're talking about Pat Ricard coming on over. You got Charlie Kohler coming on over. They're trying to seal this side over here, but you're also looking at number 95, big 95, Chris Jones. Chris Jones is Kansas City Chiefs big-time defender that you're going to have to watch out for. Go ahead and roll it. You got him over on rookie Roger Rosengarten. And so now he's looking at going one-on-one, pause it right there, with rookie Roger Rosengarten. Roger makes a short set. When he makes this short set, he doesn't get to the outside shoulder of Chris Jones. Chris Jones doing what he needs to do to get to the outside shoulder of Roger Rosengarten. But the thing is, you have Daniel Fa'alele having help to the inside. If you can get to that outside, that one guy, get to the outside, now you have an opportunity for double team. So if you go ahead and roll it, what winds up happening is you don't get that. Chris Jones gets the edge, and now he has a beeline to your quarterback. Daniel Fa'alele, his footwork isn't fast and nimble enough to go ahead and seal off that double team. So now you're looking at Lamar trying to set up to get the throw down a football field, which, by the way, he did have. Go ahead and roll it again. And as he steps up into the pocket, pause right there, you're talking about a strip sack because 95 was the influencer. Why? Roger Rosengarten wasn't able to get the proper technique, wasn't able to put himself in a great position to have the double team happen. The strip sack happens. You had a receiver in Zay Flowers coming across the middle. That would have been a great big play in a hostile territory. Instead, now look at this. You're talking end zone. You give the ball to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're going to get a quick, easy score in their red zone. Not a good way for the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, it's just giving points, giving opportunities, right, Kevin? What was Q's number one priority for the Ravens going into week one?
That offensive line being able to protect Lamar Jackson, which they didn't necessarily do a great job of in this game in particular.
Yeah, and then also the game wrecker, Chris Jones.
Woo!
Find Chris Jones. That's one element. But Q, as we move on, let's go to the defensive side. And this was a specific play here I want to show our viewers here. This was a play that everyone looks at and goes, blown coverage, right? Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. There was a big miscommunication, but you think it's more on one guy given his experience and presence with this Baltimore Ravens team.
Absolutely. So if we're going to look at the offensive side of the ball, let's look at that defensive side of the ball. Let's look at that one guy. And we're looking at the top of the screen here where you have your veteran corner who has had his moments where he has done some phenomenal plays for the Ravens, has a huge extension, all those good, wholesome things. But when you look at this situation here, he's matched up with Worthy, who is a rookie in the league. And you can see his guy, Brandon Stevens, down here at the bottom is matched up. This looks like a good, strong man-to-man opportunity. Juju Smith-Schuster right here in the slot. You got Kyle Hamilton locked up on him. You're going to have Marcus Williams as well as Coleman over here on the outside. And he's like, okay, cool. We're going to, or Jackson, pardon me, he's going to be putting himself in a great position to double number 87, Travis Kelce. Go ahead and roll it. You see that now you're going to have this travel. Go ahead and pause it right there. You got a travel by Kyle Hamilton. So now he's locked on him. You're still locked up on him. You're going to have Pacheco, the back. All eyes are locked on him as well with Trenton Simpson. All this just says Zach or I got man-to-man called, single high safety, and the potential for Jackson as well as Marcus Williams doubling up on the go-to guy in Travis Kelce. Go ahead and roll it. This is where one guy makes a real critical mistake. Pacheco goes in. You see where now Trenton Simpson kind of comes over. These two guys are taken care of. Defense is good. Everything is good. Everything is sound. This is the confusion for me for a veteran looking. Go ahead and roll it. He's looking in. He goes ahead and gets a jam, but now he's playing that jam, and not even really that good of a jam when you're trying to funnel a guy back in or reroute him. All he did is just allow him kind of almost a free release. And Patrick Mahomes is looking here. He's going to go ahead and sit on his back foot, go ahead and run it, pause it again. And he does a great job manipulating with his eyes, throws a dart right there to Worthy. I am so confused with my guy, 44, as to how come you felt it was good to look at Pacheco, look at a guy that's already covered in Juju Smith-Schuster when you know that your priority as a corner, never get beat deep. I'd rather have somebody come up here and tackle maybe 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, however many yards he would get, or even knock this pass defense down, then give up a big play. Go ahead and run it. And let's just go ahead and keep fast forwarding through this, because that right there is that one guy mentality where I get frustrated.
Can I ask you one question then? Because people are going to say, well, wait a minute, the miscommunication, or does he not know it's zone or man? And you're saying it's man all the way, and they're covered. What is one thing then for Marlon? Is that basing it more off of a not understanding the play call specifically coming in? Is that more so of what it is?
Somewhere along the line, Zach Orr, whatever he called, whatever Agent Zero called out to the defense, I'm seeing man. I'm seeing that everything is traveling over. You got a guy going in motion. If it was zone, you wouldn't see Kyle Hamilton go over. He's traveling. He's locked on him. When you see Pacheco go over in motion, you're seeing Trenton Simpson move on over as well. Therefore, it's man with a bracket, the two other safeties bracketing Travis Kelce. In my mind, I am like, where is it saying it's zone that you're passing off Worthy going deep?
Well, the one thing I was going to even mention, because it was more open up here, right? So they're aware of Marlon's looking, or your peripheral. There's nobody over top of you right
Correct.
now. And so I think that was the part I wanted you just to touch on here. But it was a costly mistake for the Ravens. You can erase that, and I'll keep moving here.
Keep on going.
And Kev, as we get it set up, I mean, this was just something for Baltimore. It felt like this was a crucial part, and this was the easiest play for Kansas City all night.
And it's very uncharacteristic of what we've seen from the Ravens defense really over the last handful of years, where they're a team, they're essentially that bend, don't break defense, where they will let you take that short and intermediate stuff. Q, exactly what you were talking about there, where you would rather have a guy catch the ball in the flat, run for 5, 7, 10 yards instead of getting the big play beat on you. So this is an uncharacteristic miscommunication, and obviously there were certainly some of those throughout the entire course of the game. And for Zach Orr, who, this in particular, I'd put more on Marlon than Zach Orr. But at the same time, for his first ever game, back-to-back champs against a really good offense, There were bound to be some miscommunications, bound to be some lows in this game. But this particular play, it's very far from what we've seen from this Ravens defense over the last few years, because they usually don't let other teams beat them deep. They usually let them take the short to intermediate stuff and then tighten up in the red zone stuff. We did see happen throughout this game and other points.
Yeah, and you know what? The theme also in this game on top of it was Kansas City got short fields and then were able to capitalize. That case, Xavier Worthy, it was a blown play. But we saw with the strip sack, short field. This was another opportunity for a short field then, Q, the one guy. And you actually kind of like the design of this, but then once again, the execution is what separates them.
So again, when you talk about head coaches, you talk about coordinators, they're always trying to figure out ways to give their team momentum. One of the ways you do it is by going for it on fourth down. You have a feeling and a sense of the moment that, hey, we got momentum in our favor. Let's go ahead and be aggressive. If we're getting aggressive, I think it was either 4th and 3. Clearly, the ball is on the 50-yard line. This is an opportunity to get it over into the Chiefs' territory. Let's regain back some momentum. Okay, cool. What that said, now you're going to have Tom Munkin draw up this play. Ironically enough, I've been at every training camp. I actually saw them practice this play where you're going to see Zay Flowers looks like he is hiding. In other words, that he is crouched really low. And Zay Flowers, of course, he is every bit of 5'9" and very diminutive look. But you're also talking about hiding behind some of your big guys, and Rosengard and Charlie Kolar. Everything smells. You even got Derrick Henry on the line of scrimmage. You got Pat Ricard. You got all your big dudes. It looks like it's just going to be a power dive, and Lamar Jackson is going to take the direct snap. All the Chiefs' attention is here to the middle of the field. You're going to have linebackers and everybody there. One guy, Nelly. You got number 20 McDuffie, and you're saying to yourself, okay, I got to get the most dangerous guy. Is it a guy in here? Is it the safety? No. When you're looking at this, your football experience should tell you if it's man-to-man and everybody's eyes are occupied in, even McDuffie's eyes are occupied in, I want him to think about me. Pardon me there. I want him to think about me. I want him to go and get my attention, because what I'm trying to do is have him get a forced outside release, turn his head, follow me down the football field. If Nelly is running to his outside shoulder, I can grab a hold of him, however it is, and I can take two guys, which now frees it up and go ahead and play it. It would free up, pause it. If I take that outside release, the corner has to respect that. And if he doesn't, obviously Lamar's getting it out of his hands quickly, because that was the play design. But at the same time, boy, you force that outside release. Now Zay gets the ball, and Zay can turn it upfield, go ahead and play it, as opposed to getting stuffed. And now you got your pursuit, and now it's a turnover at the 50-yard line. Now everyone is sitting there looking at John Harbaugh, Tom Munkin, like something is going on crazy. But in reality, one guy in Nelson Aguilar, if he just forces that outside release, it's a great play call. It's an aggressive play call. If it works, now you still have momentum in your favor.
Yeah, and also the fact that you've seen this run constantly in practice here. And the biggest thing you said about taking out the most dangerous player. And in that situation, it's the guy lined up right in front of you, especially with Zay going into the flat. And it just seemed like those were moments. And Kev, so we get ready for the final clip, those are things. Right now, we just mentioned 3 plays. And how many times are we talking about illegal formations and all the other issues in the game? And yet the Ravens have things that they could have controlled better and executed better that ended up being crucial down the stretch.
Yeah, missed opportunities. And I think we saw that in something that I did allude to earlier, was the fact that even with, especially on offense, the strip sack we talked about, plus with this play, the Chiefs got the ball. And, we've talked about it, good field position for Kansas City, but Baltimore's defense tightened up, and this game could have easily been 21-7, first half, getting away from you. But the defense did step up, even though the offense had trouble getting into a rhythm and a routine at points in this game. The defense kept them in it. It was 13-7. That's what the score was. It ended up being 13-10 at halftime, again, as the defense to forced that Mahomes interception to get the ball back. But it's plays like this that over the course of the season, this is week 1. every team's going to be some level of sloppy and guys will miss blocks and miss opportunities, but it can't be a consistent theme over the course of the season, which is why in week 2 against Las Vegas, it's so important that they're able to bounce back in a big way and get that momentum going on their side.
Yeah, and one of those last momentum plays, or really could have been a shift. Everyone looks at the final 2 plays with the miscommunication, whether it's saying the Zay Flowers trying to sit down or the final play, the toe grab, just touching the back end of the out-of-bounds line in the end zone. It was the play then 2 plays prior, Q, with Isaiah Likely going to the corner, which, again, the theme, one guy, an opportunity that the Ravens missed.
Well, let me even say it this way. When you talk about the one guy in this particular case, we're talking about number 8. We're talking about reigning MVP, and I'm not treading lightly. I'm just saying simply when it's one guy, everything is working well. This is his opportunity to take advantage of what the defense is giving you. This is his opportunity to shine, to rise other guys around him up. When we look at Patrick Mahomes, he was able to do that throughout the game. This is a play where I know as a competitor, Lamar Jackson is going to be sitting there saying, I'm going to do better. This won't happen again, whether it's Las Vegas, whether it's, the Dallas Cowboys, whomever we're going to play in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get it. So right now, let's just go ahead and focus our eyes right there on Isaiah Likely. Go ahead and run it. And so one of the things I want to show you, pause. Look at this. This is great job of having a great pocket. Great pocket for Lamar to scan the field. You're going to see Isaiah come up. And then right when he's in the end zone, recognizes that there's nothing here. What he does an amazing job of is find space. From a finding space aspect of things, it is him getting into this portion of the end zone where there's going to be a lot of space for Lamar to throw the ball in. So you go ahead and run it again. You see that pocket awareness. Good, that's great. But then you also see Lamar is about to step up into the pocket. And again, now you're going to have the occupying of, go ahead and run it. Boom, pause it. You had Zay Flowers clearing out. And so there is this opening that Isaiah Likely has for Lamar, for him stepping up. Pocket is a good, secure pocket. Feather it, layer it in there. Don't try to overextend and make it a tough catch for your receiver to go ahead and land hard out of bounds, but feather it right in through here. There are just spots all up in here. Rather than trying to throw it to the back of the end zone, you can go ahead and roll it. And unfortunately, he had a difficult task. Cook actually pushed him out of bounds. So even if he would have caught it, the rule is you got to go ahead and get both feet in bounds. And unfortunately, so if he'd have came down with that, as opposed to layering it in through here, he layers it by throwing it high and where it would have been it's just a difficult catch. I mean, obviously it's an incompletion, but even if it was caught, he was pushing him out of bounds and it would have been incomplete. So again, the theme, that one guy mentality. You're looking at this season, all hope is not lost. They're a great football team. Zach Orr's going to clean it up. Marlon Humphrey's going to clean it up. You're going to look at things from a Nelson Aguilar aspect of things, offensive line, Roger Rosengarten. Hey, he was thrown into the fire. Good. How you going to learn from it? How you going to bounce back? I think that's where we're going to see from week 1 to week 2 a really strong growth. And that competitor, number 8, Lamar Jackson, I promise you, he's going to be able to learn from this and get better and make those layered throws for his guys to help him be a lot more successful. Again, I'm looking at this as a learning experience, not an all hope is lost type of a moment.
And the reality is the Ravens are a very good team. They got a lot of talented players. And if you can correct and execute in these moments, you could win games, but ultimately you correct it, you can have a chance to get right back on track and really try to get back to where you were last year and beyond. But hey, if you guys like this breakdown, hit that like and subscribe button and check out missiletraining.com as well. And we'll be back next time for a brand new breakdown.